bum 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 ba-da-dee bum bum nee 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 me nee 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 nee. Welcome to the end of the end times. My name's Derrick. It's not important. It's actually my title here. I am broadcasting to you live via shit that is unable to broadcast live from the ultimate battle station. That is what is this? It's a conglomerate studio of lots of people's time and energy that is 47 and a half feet under a cornfield in Ohio. And I have been involved in the talks with a lot of projects, one of which was a radio program. I was not supposed to host it, and I'm not supposed to be here, but it was shelved indefinitely because of all the shit, the shit. And there's no producers here. There's nothing here. So I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go for it. And I'll give you a little pitch as to why I think I should be the one. And if you don't like it, just fuck off. That's fine. I don't mind. I have been in quarantine for 9 weeks. Has it been 10 weeks? I don't know. It's been a long time. I have been listening to my hair turn gray and staring into the void. So no one was going to stop me anyway. Excuse me, just 1 second. Let me tell you what I have here today. I have a guest in studio right here. I have a call-in guest. I have an eye twitch that is most certainly a brain bleed. I have a sponsor. It's not technically my sponsor, but we'll see if we get into can you give me just a second? You're making lots of noise, okay? Just 1 second. Okay, so let me introduce my guest. My guest is the leading expert amongst people that don't talk to people, amongst the two people that I'm allowed to talk to, and that is my homie Big F. How's it going? Say hi. Thank you. I like the bow that your mother gave you. I appreciate you wearing your nice hoodie for the show. Thanks for taking this seriously. You didn't have to do that. Okay, so I appreciate you doing it. You look good. I can't say the same for myself. I was considering calling this the art of quarantine, self-isolation, but I realized that's Tao, T-A-O. It's most certainly taken, and we're not going to start appropriating on our first episode. Right, Ev? Right. You were doing great. So let me ask you, we also don't have, do you have an idea for a show name? We also don't have I wish I had a sound effect board so I could just be like, rip some zingers and be like, I also wish we had a theme song that was like a combination of the Wii music with like maybe John Coltrane ripping some saxophone over top. You don't agree? Let me ask you this. Here's a question, okay? What do you think of the status of social communication? Status of the interwebs? How do you think it's going? It's an extremely poignant point. Oh, yeah? I can say with confidence, I was livid far before the protests, far before the 5G towers, far before this COVID shit seemed to have a new symptom every other day. And that was because the quality, the post-mediocrity, like I noticed within 15 seconds, the quality of my feed went down exponentially on anything. Just name it. Even TV. Everything just is shit. Abraham Lincoln got 1 million likes on a tweet the other week. Are you paying attention? I'm glad. I can say that I'm glad that the conspiracies have quieted down, seemingly. Either that or the constant rattling in my head has completely started to shut down my brain function. I mean, I can't even keep track of what conspiracy you guys were on for a while. It was for a while that these numbers are being overblown to make us stay home. Or no, they're not overblown. They were too small to stay home. And then now they're too big because people are faking it. And it was China, but it was America, but it was... I actually saw a girl try to actively prove to me that, not to me, to people, that Helen Keller was not deaf or blind. And I just, at that point, what are we doing? It's not you guys' fault. We're bored. We're confused. Everybody is. We're being fed lots of information, and we're all stuck, and we have no choice but to hear it. I literally can't. I can't shut it off. How do you feel, Ev? Do you feel like you have been able to think clearly? What am I doing? Here's I guess what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to tell you to shut up. Maybe I am. No, I'm not. I'm trying to say, listen, research, okay? You can look at numbers and you can come to different conclusions. You don't have to listen. You don't have to agree with everything your governors say, right? You don't have to, you can look at things and come up with a different conclusion, but it helps to have a historical and scientific context when looking at said information. It also helps to have an opinion, because you repeating someone else's opinion is not an opinion. That's just you just playing telephone. You're just saying it to everybody that you know, so that, and I can't, like I said, if I was somewhere else, I could go do something. I don't know either, okay? That's not what I'm saying. You definitely shouldn't listen to me. I look like a Civil War veteran. I haven't cut my hair in probably 12 weeks. I don't even have an excuse for that. I strapped a baby to my back and dug to an emergency hatch in a studio that I've worked at. Don't listen to me. I look like Jeff Goldblum if he was crossed with a Sasquatch in the 1986 film The Fly, instead of, it'd be called The Sasquatch, probably. The Squatch. So what I'm going to do, listen, we're going to be stuck in here for a while, and I've been trying to focus as hard as I can to create a solid environment for my brain to make it feel like that the walls aren't caving in and I'm becoming a burden on everyone around me. Ev, you've helped a ton. I appreciate that. Let me say this, okay? I'm going to share some secrets that I've gone through, that I've realized in being with myself, okay, over this time. And if you don't want to listen to me, because I look like... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. If you don't want to listen to me, because I look like your Tamagotchi if you turn it on right now, which you can't even prove me wrong on that one, good luck finding that thing. Let me just leave you with this, okay? I have a drinking game, okay? Hashtag ad drinking. Hashtag Cove ad. Jesus Christ. Drinking game. That you can take this. If you don't want to listen to my advice, turn it off, but listen to this, okay? Here's your game. Write it down. If you hear trying times on an ad, TV or YouTube or whatever you guys are looking at these days, whatever the crazy kids are doing, take a sip. If you hear Corona beer reference, down your entire drink, whatever the hell it is. Hear unemployment mentioned at all, up or down, doesn't matter. Take a shot. And if you hear trying times anymore, you have to drink as much paint thinner as you can before passing out. And for those of you guessing on the live feed what the mystery liquid today was, that is paint thinner. Yes, you guessed it correctly. And I'm actually realizing that was not a live feed. We don't have one. That was the void I'm staring at again. I'm getting confused lately. So here, let me tell you what I've been through. This is the hashtag. It's not hashtag. Throwback Thursday. This is not my head. It's not even throwback. It's just what I've been through in the last 12 weeks. Brought to you by Panera Bread. Do you like bread? Well, we have food. Right? We'll go back to that. So here's what I've been doing. I had a baby, okay? I didn't have a baby. My baby mama had a baby. Ashley, love of my life. She's all right. She's not. I'm just pointing up to the. It's okay. I'm just pointing up to the surface because that's where she's at. That's not where I am at. So, I saved up time. I was able to take some time off work. I came back. I was there for like 2 months. Then I received a phone call from Ashley. She's a healthcare worker. She had been exposed to one of the first cases in our county. Excuse me. So that was March 11th. You okay? This is tough down here. I get it. So she was exposed. I told my job immediately. We were both placed in quarantine, self-isolation, whatever. I technically didn't need to be placed on quarantine, but my job wanted to be safe. They were accommodating. It was great. I would have been fine with it if I didn't my grandmother had an illness. Okay. She was dying and it's okay. She went out the exact way she said she wanted to. Everybody helped her. It probably could not have gone any better. But I had just visited her with my baby. I decided not to hesitate. I had a chance that Tuesday. We went. But I saw a ton of my cousins and a couple of my aunts and uncles. And I just fuck. I mean, so I called my dad and then he's like, fuck. And then I was like, why don't we just, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to subject you to this. You got shit to worry about. So I ended up calling all of them pretty much my whole first day. That's what I did. About a week later, I spent my 28th birthday in quarantine. Is that correct? Which up until this moment didn't feel weird because I never do anything for my birthday, but now I don't know how fucking old I am, so maybe that was weird. But that was back in March. Then next day my grandma dies again. She went out like a badass. And then now I've been at home. I've been away. So at first, let me say, I felt that I was made for this. I honestly felt like, what happened to your shaker thingy? Let me see that thing. I honestly felt like I was made for this. Did that leave a mark? It probably left a mark. You can have this back. Oh my God. I honestly felt like I was made for this at the beginning. I thought this was finally an excuse for me because 6 feet away from people, that's a godsend. Like, I mean, we're not allowed to touch people. Thank God. I can now finally scream, don't fucking touch me, and people don't look at me weird. But the longer things go along, you start to realize strange things. Like, you start to realize... Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Ev is playing with the ball. Are you going to pay it? Oh, you dropped it. Look at what you did. I'll get it. Hold on. You going to drop it again? Seriously, though, did that leave a mark? Would you tell me if it left a mark on my forehead? Are you lying? Your dexterity is fantastic these days. Is that a thanks or was that a you know? Oh, you're bored now. Okay. So I started to notice strange things. The longer you're in isolation, you start to find out. Like, I mean, it started out as little things. Like, you start to go on walks and things. And you're wondering, first of all, why do my legs hurt? Then you realize, holy shit, I haven't moved in 6 days. I've had probably 2 full hours of exercise in 3 weeks. The weather has been a surprise every single time I go outside without hesitation. Every time I walk outside, I'm like, I don't know what I was expecting, but it's not this. The other thing that's been a surprise is my face. I started to realize every time, because I've also not been doing any grooming or anything like that. I mean, that's the most... I thought I would stand in solidarity with everybody. I was like, I'm not going to cut one single hair anywhere on my body. Yeah, get the book. I said, I'm not going to cut one single hair on my entire body for any of this. And so I started to realize slowly, number one, because like I saw LeBron, right? LeBron was wearing, he looks like Santa Claus. I don't know if anybody's seen him. He looks like Santa Claus. I thought I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to cut anything. But the longer this went on, I'm like, I just look like shit. Like, there's not even and the worst, no one I even know gives a shit if I look like shit. Because I stopped at work, finally, for the first time in a while. And they were just like, yeah, you look like shit. So I don't do any grooming. So I barely ever look into the mirror. And every time I do, it's not just the fact that I look more like hell than I normally do, but every time I do, it's like my face it's contorted in a way that I did not. Like, I'm worried that once we have to go back outside and face people, I think this is involuntary. I don't think I can control what's going on above my neck anymore. It's tough to find. I mean, kids. Like, walking in the neighborhood, did anyone else realize that there's just kids in your neighborhood? You had no clue? All of a sudden, all these whippersnappers are skateboarding and they're playing basketball and shit, and you're like, where were you people? I've lived here for a while. There was nobody here. What were you guys doing before? So let me see. The biggest problem, I think, if I had to pinpoint anything, I would say I can't figure out a good time to eat or sleep or look at porn. Every waking moment seems like a good time to me. I'm always like, yeah, but I can't figure out. I made a pot of chili, which, first of all, I don't know how skewed my thought process had to be to just attempt to make chili. But I did it. I was thinking I could probably eat this for a couple of days. But the longer the more bowls I started to get, I realized, wow, that's not. I ate a whole fucking pot of chili. And my daughter watched me. It was grotesque. My Aunt Kathy brought me lasagna a couple months ago. And I ate it like it was, like I looked like Tom Hanks from Castaway. I thought, as I'm eating, I'm like, I like lasagna. Don't get me wrong, but this is like the greatest thing. And I started to wonder, what have I even been eating? I can't even name a single thing. I've been eating constantly, and I have no clue what the fuck I've been eating. There's nothing here. How am I eating? My patience started to drop out the window. That was something that Ashley had to point out to me. That there's certain times where I just, like, I'll go from trying to drop a link, like link a document to my I'm sorry. Ev, I didn't realize you'd be so much of a distraction for me. Let me wrap this up. We're never getting out. I have no clue. That part of that I dug, it caved in on there, so I got to go find you food. But we had some food in the fridge last time I checked. I started to, like, okay, so say, for example, I'm dropping a link to my brother, right? Trying to put it through Dropbox. I link a folder. I'm on the phone with him. He just goes, folder's empty. What do you mean folder's empty? And he's like, there's nothing in the folder. And I'm like, what's the name of the folder? He says the name of the folder. I'm like, then I'm looking at it. It's in there right now. It's in there. And he's like, it's not in there. And it's full on rage. And I can't even, I'm trying to just, I go immediately from trying to drop a link to my brother to trying to cut my legs off and fuel a fire to burn my own house down. But I swear, I'm doing okay. And I can tell you how I'm doing okay. Okay? Like I said, Big Ev, you've been a big help. Thank you. But yes, this is a professional program. So these notes are a goddamn mess, but I wrote one to see, well, this is a really well endowed whale. I'm not sure who. Here, Ev, you can have that one. This is starting to feel like, what am I even doing? I am a burden on everyone around me. Let me tell you, here's my lessons, okay? Drink water. I drank several glasses yesterday, and my legs stopped hurting. It was the weirdest thing. My chest doesn't feel as tight. It's like we're created from water or something. Wherever you got to get it. Even if you got to go, if your water sucks at home and you can't find water bottles, they have those machines, the refill machines that are 25 cents a gallon. Just steal some quarters, whatever you got to do. Just get water, okay? That's probably, if you're going to listen to nothing else, water. Don't hesitate with whatever you want to do. If you want to visit your grandma, just do it. If you want to, well, maybe don't. Figure out a way to. Go talk to her through the window. call somebody. If you want to just sleep, if you want to punch a wall, you don't have to, because people are going on TikTok and they're doing all kinds of cool things. I get it. Excuse me, Ev. Are you going to eat some of that? Because I really would rather you not eat that. I'm sorry, Ev. You've been proven irresponsible with it. There's your ball back. If you can figure out how to play Animal Crossing, do it. Because, and I'm not even talking about the Switch one. Don't even buy a Switch. People are running scams and shit. The Wii one was fantastic. If you don't have a Wii, figure out a GameCube. I don't know. Those are probably hard to find. Maybe a DS. You can get those on eBay. If you're bored, it's right. It's a total waste of time, and nobody likes it at all. Try going outside if you can. Be patient with yourself. There's no reason that you have to. Everyone sucks, right? Like late shows and shit. Like professional television shows were having people film their shit on a cell phone. Like you can do whatever the hell you want. If you want to scream with your daughter underground and hope the police don't show up, then just do it. Nobody's stopping you. Please do it. It'd be great. I can also say that the weather. Yeah, try going outside. The weather. I live in Ohio. The weather sucks every other day. So, and I realize that's a big factor on my mood. But there are other things, like try screaming. That helps. Dancing. Not even. You just gyrate your limbs as hard as you can, and you have too much energy to be sad. You can just shake them all out. Just shake it. Maybe tugs. Should we call this tugs? The ultimate guide. Today we're tugging. Lube up. Today we're tugging the whatever. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. Your info. Right, Ev? Figure out a way. Try to be careful where you're getting information from. You can fake all kinds of things. Like, look, baby's not even here. In studio at the same time, I'm shaking my hand in the other camera. I could fake that too. I don't know. Look, she's back. Who the fuck? You don't know what's going on? She's in a safe location. Don't worry. So here's what I'm saying. Like, I'm an idiot, okay? I can find people. I went to school with a woman that is now an epidemiologist. She shares all kinds of information, different things that people are confused about. She is constantly disheartened by the ridiculous things that people are sharing because she's dedicated her whole life to this. But interesting. She'll answer questions. She also says the fuck word. So if you're offended by that when she answers your question and calls you a fuck, then maybe don't ask it. But I find what she shares fascinating. It's at Tori Faye, ToriFayeee, maybe 3 E's. I don't know. She answers questions. Fascinating shit. I like it. There's different people that she takes data and she comes up with her opinion about certain things. She changes her opinion sometimes because she makes decisions based on data. That's how you should do it. So what I'm just saying is just be careful. Like I said, my guess, here's what I'm saying. I got a guy I know that studied physics, right? I think that most of the shit has died down with the 5G shit. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So maybe this is a horrible, horrible fucking idea. But I'm going to ask a guy that I think he's got a physics degree from a human college, I think. Pretty sure. We'll ask him. So my first guest, I probably should have asked Tori to be on the show. But to be honest, this felt more like a cry for help than anything I should subject others to. I mean, she's already... What the fuck am I doing? So anyway, without further ado, here's a guy that studied... Here's your unfriendly neighborhood physicist, Alex. Alex, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
How are you adjusting to the quarantine life?
It's slowed down. Quarantine's tough. Can't get out there and do real outdoor science. We're stuck in here doing indoor science in a tiny room with very large hands. So it makes things difficult. But at least my background's green. I got books.
You do have books.
We're hanging in. We do have books.
Let me ask you. You are a physicist, right? You went to school for this?
Yes.
Okay, because I have very specific questions. You need to help us make sense of this. Okay, my first question. I'll just get right into it. Can radiation give COVID like symptoms?
Well, if we need to back up just a little bit and explore what the radiation is or what it does, radiation's a wide range of the electromagnetic spectrum, to where even from things like color, light is radiation, all the way up to things like X-rays, get your bones tested and looked at, and even things like microwaves that cooks the food. If you were experiencing some sort of radiation sickness, you would typically have things like low energy, feel very sickly, lesions on the skin, fever, coughing, and eventually your face looks like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It just starts to melt away. It's not great. So if we were to compare the stuff to stuff like COVID, so though the symptoms don't sound like COVID very much, except maybe the fever and the coughing, so it's possible.
It's possible.
It's
okay.
possible.
Well, wait. Are you saying like 5G towers, right? Those are the ones that everybody's talking about. What are we being fried from the inside out? Is that what you're saying? Is there LTE? Like, I mean, what's the difference between 3G, Wi-Fi? Like, is it the same shit? What can happen?
Wireless technology, wireless communication, runs on a series of frequencies, like light, essentially, but it's not the same as light. It operates in a different band of radiation. So 5G, for example, operates somewhere between the 24 and 52 gigahertz range, and somewhere between the half to 4 gigahertz range, which is, oddly enough, water, which is what we're mostly made of, starts to boil in the 2.5 gigahertz range, which is why microwaves operate at that range. So I'm going to be perfectly frank here, is that you stand too close, you can be cooked by 5G radiation. But luckily, we don't have to worry too much about 5G towers because they're very high up. The radiation power is an inverse square of the distance. So that means the farther away you get, the very much less radiated you'll feel, which is why the tower's up very high. So you got to be careful. So, I mean, yeah, you can't stand right up there. You can't go licking 5G transmitter cells, but luckily they're usually several hundred feet up. Unless you've got one sitting on your desk, like a cell booster, then you wouldn't get too close to that thing.
Okay, wait a second. So you're saying that we can... So what are you saying? Are you saying that we can be cooked by this shit? Like, because, well, hold on, wait. But what about like eagles, right? I've seen birds up on the towers, right? Are you saying that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They live up there. Yeah.
Are you saying that they could be cooked if they get close enough to these towers?
Well, luckily we don't have to worry about the birds because they're actually machines. They're spies. Set in 1985 by Ronald Reagan. The birds work for the bourgeoisie, so luckily, and they operate on different internal structures because they're metal endoskeletons over nanocarbon feathers. So their positronic brains and their operating systems aren't affected by the 2.5 gigahertz frequency because that essentially boils water, right? They're not made of water. They're made of metal. And luckily their metal skins protect them from this radiation. So they can fly all around they want. These 4G, 5G towers, radiation emitting devices, they're fine.
What? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure that I understand this. So how do we're obviously not made of mechanics. I don't even know where to go from here. We're not mechanical, right? Me and you. Can we agree on that?
Sure. I think it's a difference of opinion, but we'll for the sake of discussion, we'll go there. How do we protect ourselves? Are you saying that these things are dangerous if we do? How can we protect ourselves from the condors and the towers? Just stay on the ground. Just don't go near them. Ideally, yes. So first things first, stop trying to burn the towers. Everybody knows that jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Okay, so what you need to stop doing is trying to burn the towers down. It can't melt the steel beams, but it can weaken them, and it will fall down on the ground, and then you have cell transmitters all over the ground. So first things first, just leave them up on the towers. They're fine up there. It's not really an issue. However, if you do find yourself close to one, either if you scaled the tower to burn it or to try to fight the birds that are spying on you, what you can do is equip yourself with it's either septagonal or octagonal designed cages or even some sort of protective clothing, usually made of some sort of tin or aluminum. So what that does essentially is the 7 or 8-sided figures, because really it doesn't matter at this sort of frequency range, is that the internal structure will start to diffract the radio waves and radiation to where it becomes into less harmful ionizing radiation for people. So things like yurts, 8-sided yurts, are fantastic for ground coverage.
Hold on.
Get yourself.
I'm
yes.
sorry to interrupt. Are you suggesting, what is a yurt made of? What does it matter the material of this octagonal design that you're speaking of, or?
Well, see, that's the beautifully revolutionary thing about these octagonal designs, is that it doesn't matter what it's made out of. You can make it out of sticks, make it out of responsibly grown hemp or bamboo, or even steel, aluminum, lead, concrete, if you like, mud. Is that it's the beauty of the octagonal or septagonal design buildings here, is that you don't need any sort of crazy steel cage or crazy aluminum Faraday design. That guy was a little out of his mind. Surround yourself in metal cages and wires, but hey, it's all right. At different times, they didn't know as much. Cool. But yeah, so luckily, 8-sided things are really where you need to hammer home and build yourself around these cages to protect yourself, which luckily doesn't have to be a large size. You can even have personal hexagonal cages. If you're out and about or you happen to be near a 5G tower.
Okay, so at the beginning of this, I'm gonna rewind slightly. At the beginning of this, you were basically saying, no, it doesn't produce symptoms like radiation. You described radiation, which you kind of went over my head a little bit. I'll admit, I don't understand all of this. But you were basically saying, no, it doesn't. But then you said there are similarities. But then now you're literally describing cages to, bottom line, are you saying that we are getting sick from these things, or what are you suggesting?
Well, what I'm saying is that we're not really sure. At first, I thought the same thing as you did, is that, it's not a big deal. It can't possibly hurt us. But after examining these facts...
Facts? Where did you hear the who discovered the octagonal septagon? How do you know, what is why? Shouldn't it matter how many sides on these structures? Or who discovered this?
Well, actually, it was during an MK Ultra project that they tried to develop the Hell in a Cell for all of the mind control experiments that the CIA was doing on their operatives.
Alex, I very much appreciate your time, but I think I've gotten all I can take from you. I think we're going to have to call this one. So I appreciate it. I will call you back if I have any more questions. I appreciate your intuitiveness, I guess.
Anytime. If you have any more bird spy related questions, please feel free to reach out.
Right.
I'm always here for you. Same thing with any sort of multi-sided design features of anti-radiation devices. There's quite a few patents floating around on them. I'm happy to help build them.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. I will talk to you sometime. Goodbye.
All right. Hey, good luck on your stolen studio.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Please keep your voice down.
All right. What?
What the fuck did I just do? I just watched that man transform live. I barely know that guy. What the fuck was I thinking? I thought we have exchanged conversation before. I've had discourse with this man, but I didn't realize. I watched him live melt down into Alex Jones on unfortunately, that guest was brought to you by Panera Bread. Do you like microwave food but wish you paid more for it? Go to Panera. I'm sorry. I feel like what the fuck did I just do? There's no way. That guy doesn't know. Listen, that was a man named Alex and nothing else, okay? I want you to... All right. What have we learned? We learned that producers should probably screen guests better. I should probably get producers. We learned I probably shouldn't dig 47 and a half feet in the dirt with a baby strapped to my back looking like Burt Reynolds' first son's stepdad. I should probably get some sleep. Let me just say, yes, we are stuck inside. I personally, I've been here 10 weeks. I don't personally feel like a prisoner, no matter how many millionaires or retired Facebook moms tell me I should. What I'm saying is real human beings are affected. Try not to let the fear and confusion affect others. If you're not directly affected by this, I guarantee someone else is. So when you're sitting there, like, let me just say this. The truth will come out. I think that's what people are getting confused about. Like, we can speculate all we want. We can talk about fucking robot birds. We can talk about these towers and our proximity to it. But at some point, we're going to find out what happened. And it's not, in retrospect, it's not going to be all that long from now. We'll know how well we did in not that long. All we have to do is just keep calm. Like, the other thing that pisses me off about feeling like a prisoner is the only people that I personally know that feel like prisoners are the essential workers, the healthcare workers, the guys I know with immune deficiencies that have to go back to work because they have no choice, that can't protect themselves. I know nurses that are pregnant they have to pick and choose who they use personal protection with. And then when someone turns out to be COVID positive and they didn't have everything on that they needed to be, or they couldn't reuse this mask a 97th time, then they're placed on quarantine. And that to me doesn't feel like we're very much here, okay? We're right here. We're all in this together, right? Whether or not you want to believe it or not. So this is all I'm suggesting. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to dumb white guys looking in the camera going like, man, oh yeah, that's what you mean. And disease can be transferred back from your mouth and back in the thing and condors. I don't know. And I've just added to it. Breathe in with me, okay? This sucks. Breathe out. This sucks, right? It sucks. I need to sleep. I need to get her out of here. What the fuck was I doing? I'm going to cut my hair. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home and cut my hair. None of this. If my car's not even towed, I don't even know if my car's still here. Are you shitting? All right, let me go take care of that.